One of the most mysterious objects said to exist on Earth is a ring believed to have come down from heaven itself. Many claim this ring bears incredible similarities to the legendary One Ring from the Lord of the Rings. But what if the inspiration came from something real? This ring isn't just a myth. It's mentioned in the Old Testament and appears across several ancient esoteric scriptures. It's believed that whoever possesses this ring will gain control over the world, not metaphorically, but literally. So the burning question is, who is looking for this ring now? And if it truly exists, who will find it? Before we uncover the incredible reports that it may have surfaced in Turkey, let's journey back to where it all began. Not in a king's palace, but in paradise itself. The ring sent with Adam, ahelisalam, according to certain ancient traditions, when Adam, ahelisalam, and Hawa, Eve, was sent down from paradise to earth, Adam didn't come empty-handed. He brought with him a heavenly ring, a gift from the Almighty. This was no ordinary ornament, inscribed with the words, "Property belongs to God." The ring carried special knowledge, sacred secrets, and divine energy. It was said that whoever wore it, by God's will, would have access to extraordinary powers. After Adam's mission on earth was complete, a journey that spanned many decades, the ring was said to return to paradise. For a time, it vanished from the world of men. The ring returns from the heavens to David, Dawud alayhi salam. Generations passed. Humanity spread across the earth, forming new nations and civilizations. Then came a moment where the ring was destined to return, not by accident, but by divine command. The angel Gabriel, with Allah's permission, was given a mission: deliver the ring to a chosen man. That man was Prophet Dawud, David alayhi salam, the noble shepherd, warrior, and eventual king of the Israelites. At the time, Prophet Dawud had not yet been loved by all. He was known for his courage, especially the famous battle where he defeated Goliath, a towering and terrifying enemy of Bani Israel. Goliath was said to be nearly 3 meters tall. But during the battle, Dawud faced him bravely and struck him down with a slingshot. By Allah's will, Goliath was defeated, and Dawud's name became known throughout the land. After this victory, Allah blessed him with both wisdom and authority. The hidden power of the ring. This is where the mystery deepens. The ring that Jibril brought was not just symbolic. It carried divine authority. With God's name inscribed upon it, the one who wore it was given the power to rule over jinn, animals, winds, and elements that normal humans could not command. Jibril told Dawud that the ring was not his to keep forever. He was to gather his sons and test them. The one who could answer Jibril's questions correctly would become his successor and the rightful bearer of the ring. In a grand assembly, Dawud questioned each of his sons in front of the people. The questions were unusual. What is the most beautiful thing in the world? What is the ugliest thing? What is the coarsest thing? What is the sweetest thing? Out of all his sons, and Dawud had 19 of them, only one answered every question correctly: Sulaiman, Solomon, alayhi salam. But something puzzled Dawud. As Sulaiman answered each question, he smiled in a strange, almost amused way. Dawud asked, "Why do you smile in front of all these people while answering serious questions?" Sulaiman replied honestly, Father, I didn't know the answers, but an ant nearby whispered them to me. I simply repeated what it said. This may sound odd, but it made perfect sense to Dawud. He knew that true knowledge comes from Allah, and sometimes through the most unexpected means, even an ant. As long as the knowledge is truthful and leads to God, its source is not to be mocked. And so the ring, once given to Adam, now passed from Dawud to Sulaiman. But that was not the end of its journey. Sulaiman, ahelisalam, the king of all creation, with the ring on his finger, Sulaiman, ahelisalam, ruled over a kingdom unlike any seen before or since. He didn't just command humans, he ruled over Jinn, beings of smokeless fire, animals who understood his commands, the winds which carried his throne across vast distances, and even birds who served as messengers and warriors. His court was filled with jinn who built palaces, shaped mountains, and even dove into the deep sea to bring out treasures. The Quran confirms in Surah Sad 38:36-38. So we subjected to him the wind blowing by his command, gently wherever he directed. And we subjected to him every builder and diver of the jinn, and others bound together in chains. But such power came with great responsibility, and one day it would be put to the ultimate test. A story from Jewish tradition. The jinn's deception. In ancient Jewish writings, not part of Islamic belief, but found in esoteric texts, a strange and disturbing legend is told. They say, each time Sulaiman went to relieve himself, he would take off the ring, as it carried the name of God. Out of respect for its sacredness, he wouldn't bring it into impure places. He would hand it over to one of his wives for safekeeping. But one day, a jinn saw an opportunity. This jinn, named Sakhr, disguised himself as Sulaiman. With his new form and perfect imitation, he approached the queen, took the ring, and slipped it on. Immediately, the powers of the ring transferred to him. The real Sulaiman, returning from the toilet, was confused and horrified. He demanded the ring back, but it was too late. Sakhr, now bearing the ring and Sulaiman's appearance, expelled the prophet from his own palace, and just like that, the world changed. Sulaiman lives among fishermen. According to the legend, Sulaiman was cast out of his kingdom. The people, seeing two identical men, one with a ring, one without, believed the impostor. They could not imagine that such a powerful divine object could be stolen by a jinn. With no throne, no army, and no power, the real Sulaiman wandered far from the city. He ended up in a poor fishing town where no one recognized him. There he worked for simple wages, gutting fish, fixing nets, and waiting for Allah's help. He never complained. He knew that all power belonged to Allah alone, not to a ring, not to jinn, not to thrones, a fish, a ring, and destiny years passed. Then, one evening, something unexpected happened. A fisherman handed Sulaiman a fish. He opened it to prepare for cooking, and inside its belly was something shiny. The ring, the very same ring Sakhr had stolen and later thrown into the sea. He put the ring back on. Instantly, the winds stirred. The jinn, wherever they were, felt his command return. The earth itself seemed to whisper, "The king is back." Sulaiman returned to his palace, confronted the impostor jinn, and took back what was his. Sakhr was chained by Allah's command and cast away, never to rise again. A deep lesson in faith. While this story comes mainly from Jewish tradition and not confirmed in Islam, it does carry a powerful moral. If jinn could disguise themselves as prophets, how could anyone trust a messenger again? Islam rejects this possibility. No jinn can take the place of a prophet or imitate revelation. The Quran is clear that Allah protects His messengers, and truth cannot be stolen or faked, as Allah says in Surah Al-Jinn 72:27-28. He alone is the knower of the unseen, and He does not disclose His unseen to anyone, except to a messenger whom He has chosen. Then He makes a guard to march before Him and after Him. Still, stories like this one remind us that great power attracts great enemies, and that faith is tested even for the greatest of men. After the death of Sulaiman, the Quran tells us that when Sulaiman, ahelisalam, passed away, no one noticed immediately, not even the jinn under his command. He died leaning on his staff, watching the jinn work. As Allah reveals in Surah Saba 34:14, but when we decreed death for him, nothing informed them of his death except a worm that ate his staff. So when he fell down, the jinn saw clearly that had they known the unseen, they would not have remained in humiliating punishment. But what about the ring? Islamic sources don't describe exactly what happened to it. Some say it was buried with him. Others believe it vanished, hidden by Allah until the end of times. And some traditions claim it was passed on in secret, known only to the righteous. But one thing is certain. This was no ordinary ring. It bore the divine seal, a symbol of power over jinn, beasts, wind, and nature, a key to knowledge beyond our realm, and it was never just forgotten. People have been looking for it ever since a ring of power in the real world. Now, pause for a moment. You've probably seen or heard of The Lord of the Rings, the famous book and film series by J.R.R. Tolkien. At its core is a mystical ring, one that gives power over others, dominates the will of creatures, and must be destroyed before it corrupts all. Coincidence? Maybe. But what if Tolkien, who was a scholar of ancient texts, had read stories about the seal of Sulaiman and reimagined it as a mythical weapon, a ring that controls supernatural beings, grants dominion over the earth, can corrupt or empower based on who holds it? The parallels are hard to ignore. And this brings us to the present day. The mysterious discovery in Turkey. In a recent headline that shocked the Islamic world, Turkish authorities made a stunning discovery in Amasya, a historic province in northern Turkey. During a raid on an illegal artifact dealer's home, the gendarmerie seized a bronze seal with strange markings, gold plates with Hebrew inscriptions, a book of black magic, a statue of a bull linked to ancient Semitic rituals. Among them, the seal stood out most. Early reports claimed it may be the seal of Sulaiman. Yes, that seal, the one that could command jinn and wind. Though experts have yet to confirm its exact origin, the fact that the ring bears ancient symbols tied to Solomon's time has caused a wave of speculation. Could this truly be the long-lost heavenly ring, or is it a sign that the world is approaching the final chapter written by ancient prophecy? A door with the Star of David in Samson. Around the same time, another discovery made headlines. In Samson's Ladakh district, villagers found an 800-year-old wooden door in a hidden chamber. Carved into it was the Star of David, a symbol long associated with Suleiman and his seal. Some claim it belonged to a secret sect. Others say it was a marker protecting something beneath. Archaeologists and spiritual researchers are still exploring its meaning, but the timing is eerie. Too many discoveries, too many signs, all pointing back to the ring of Sulaiman. Could states be searching for the ring? It may sound like a conspiracy, but insiders and scholars have long suspected that global powers are looking for metaphysical tools. According to some reports, secret military units perform Jinn calling rituals in remote caves. Intelligence agencies collect occult books and prophetic relics. Even some state leaders reportedly maintain connections with sorcerers or jinn to gain political advantage. You might laugh, but to those in power, belief in unseen dimensions is not a joke. And if they believe the ring exists, then perhaps they're searching, desperate to gain control over the fourth-dimensional beings known as jinn. A dangerous quest. But beware, if the ring of Sulaiman were to fall into the hands of someone evil, the world would suffer. The same power that built a peaceful kingdom could now be used to build a global prison. This is no fantasy. This is not a fairy tale. This is a warning. And remember, according to Islamic prophecy, before the day of judgment, certain relics will emerge from the underworld. The staff of Musa, ahelisalam, and the seal of Sulaiman, ahelisalam. When they return, they will not empower tyrants. They will empower the true believers. The return of hidden relics. In several Islamic narrations, it is stated that some relics of past prophets will return before the day of judgment. Among them are the staff of Musa, ahelisalam, the seal or ring of Sulaiman, ahelisalam, the tablets of the Torah, and even the chest of the covenant, Tabut al-Sakina. According to some reports, these items will be uncovered by the Mahdi, the awaited leader of the Muslim Ummah, who will rise before the coming of Isa alayhi. In one narration from Imam al-Sadiq, rahimahullah, when the Mahdi appears, he will bring out the Tabut, Ark, the staff of Musa, and the seal of Sulaiman. These items will serve as clear proofs of divine authority, and the Mahdi will use them to establish truth, dismantle falsehood, and gather the believers. The seal of Sulaiman is not just a relic, it is a symbol of divine kingship. Dajjal, false power, and the jinn agenda. But not all forces are divine. According to authentic hadith, before the Mahdi emerges, a man will rise who will pretend to be a god. His name is Al-Dajjal, the Antichrist. He will have power to deceive the people with illusions, command devils and jinn, control weather and crops, enter every city on earth, except Makkah and Medina. Could Dajjal be among those seeking the ring? Some scholars say yes. The ring of Sulaiman could give him enhanced powers, allowing him to strengthen his deception over mankind. If he or his followers obtain it, they might even use it to convince the world that he is divine, repeating the ancient jinn deception that once stole Sulaiman's identity. But the Quran is clear. And never did we appoint for the jinn authority over mankind? Surah Saba 34:41. The ring's power cannot aid the evil unless Allah allows it for a greater purpose in His divine plan. Imam Mahdi and the true heir of the seal. When the Mahdi appears, he will not come with sorcery. He will come with divine guidance, and yet he will possess the ring, a heavenly tool, not a magical weapon. With the ring of Sulaiman and the staff of Musa, the Mahdi will expose the falsehood of Dajjal, break the systems of global oppression, unite the believers under one banner, restore justice and spiritual balance to the earth. He will be joined by Isa, alayhis salam, who will descend from the heavens and slay the Dajjal. This final era will mark the true purpose of Sulaiman's ring, not to dominate, but to uplift, not to enslave the Jinn, but to restore harmony between the worlds of the seen and unseen. The final symbol of power. Throughout history, humans have craved control over others, over nature, over the unseen. And yet, the story of Sulaiman's ring teaches a deeper truth. True power does not lie in rings or relics. True power lies in submission to Allah. Sulaiman ruled with justice, humility, and faith. He never relied on the ring alone. He relied on the will of the Creator. As he prayed, "My Lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor, and admit me by your mercy into the ranks of your righteous servants." Surah An-Naml 27:19. The ring may return, the Jinn may whisper, the armies may rise, but in the end, truth will triumph. Final words, a ring beyond legend. So what is the seal of Sulaiman? A forgotten relic? A secret tool of prophecy? A test of who seeks power and who submits to truth? You decide. But one thing is certain. The story of the heavenly ring is not over, and maybe, just maybe, its return is closer than we think.